Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. It's Isabel Harris. So, what if life could just radically shift on a dime? Say one day you're just going along and life's just really normal, not much is happening, and then just a switch gets flipped and everything changes, and you're suddenly just catapulted into another reality. You got plenty of money, you got some fame, just everything has completely shifted, and you are living a life of ease and comfort and not a lot of problems. Well, would you change? Would you be the same? I've heard it said that, money doesn't really change a person, it just makes you more of who you already were. I don't know if that's exactly true because the Bible does have a lot to say about how money or comfort can change a person. Just look at the story of King Solomon. So, I don't know that it just makes you more of what you are. I think there is some risk of it changing you if you're not really well grounded. But in this example, that life can change on a dime, this happened. There's an Old Testament story where this actually happened to a woman. She just on the outside looked like a normal Jewish citizen living her everyday life. And then, in a strange turn of events, all of a sudden, she's catapulted into the palace and made the queen of Persia. Who are we talking about? Esther, of course. We're talking about Queen Esther. And I want to encourage everyone, go read the book of Esther in the Old Testament. There is so much good stuff in there, so much that you can glean from that story. It's 9 or 10 chapters. It's an easy, quick read, and there's just a lot of really good information in there. But when I was getting the inspiration for this and really feeling on my heart like I needed to talk about Esther, I was just pondering, like, God, what is it? What is it about Esther that you want pointed out? Because there is a lot of elements in the story. But what I felt like was I needed to just focus in on her a little bit and really emphasize the number one attribute of Esther, and that was her humility. Now, just think about it for a moment. She was living a pretty normal life, and then in a turn of events, she's put into a royal beauty pageant and chosen among hundreds, if not thousands, of other women. So the favor of God had to be on her because all of these women were probably beautiful. She, though, was very beautiful and had the favor of God on her and was chosen by the king. So now she's in the palace, and imagine, so now she's wealthy. She has everything she needs at her fingertips. She has maids waiting on her hand and foot. And so she has a very cushy, nice, comfortable existence. But another person in this story in the book of Esther was the evil Haman, and he hated the Jews, and he had hatched this plan to kill all the Jewish people. And so Mordecai, who was Esther's cousin, who had raised her, he gets word to her and says, hey, we're all going to be killed if you don't go before the king on our behalf. So, long story short, she is afraid. She doesn't want to do it because in that day, if you went before the king unsummoned, you could die. And so she says, hey, don't you know that if I do this, I could die? And Mordecai encourages her, that famous line that we all quote, hey, who knows if you weren't raised up for such a time as this? So, long story short, she agrees to it. They all fast and pray for 3 days. She goes before the king on behalf of her people and receives favor. And the evil Haman ends up getting killed. And the Jews are all saved because of her bravery. And Mordecai, her cousin, is actually put in second position under the king. So it's a beautiful redemption story. But think about Esther for a moment. She's living a life of luxury. She has everything she needs at her fingertips. She did not have to do this, but she chose to do it. So even though she was wealthy and had this comfortable existence, she stayed humble. She trusted God. She stayed submissive to Mordecai, who had raised her. She stayed in contact with him throughout the story. You know, she is a beautiful example of humility and meekness. And I believe this is what the Lord really wanted me to emphasize. She didn't use her high and lofty position just for her own comfort, to be a diva. She used that position to save her people from annihilation. She used the position that she was in. She didn't abuse the position she was in. So, just like going before the king unsummons, and she says, "Hey, if I perish, I perish." So ultimately, she trusted God that whether she lived or she died, she was going to be obedient and she was going to do the right thing. So money and wealth and fame did not corrupt Esther. Esther was grounded, she was humble, she was beautiful on the outside, she was beautiful on the inside. She saved thousands of people by one act of obedience. So if life changes on a dime for us, hey, wonderful. But let's be like Esther. Let's use our lives for his glory. So if we're ever put in a position of comfort or ease or fame or whatever, let's make sure we're going to use it for the glory of God. Let's stay true. Let's stay humble. Let's be like Esther. So go read the whole book. You'll love it. You'll get a lot of good stuff out of there. And I love you guys. I thank you for watching. I bless you with this, and I'll see you on next week's video. Thank you.